morning, everyone. Welcome to Amir's podcast. I'm your host, Amir Academy. Thanks for being here. And you know, at this podcast, the format is where we want to be able to showcase, some of the top leaders and the warriors and the innovators in our society, in our community, and talk about their journey, share their stories with the community. So today I'm very, very honored to have a very dear friend of mine, a good friend of Amir Academy, a student of Amir Academy, and one of the instructors, top instructors. I'll call him the MVP of Amir Academy, Mr. Jamarcus Anderson. It's a great honor to have you, my friend. Thanks for being here. All right, buddy. Well, let's talk about Jamarcus a little bit and some of his accomplishments. This is someone that I truly love and respect and really proud of. Not just because of his accomplishments, also because more than anything else, because of his loyalty, dedication, and incredible impact that he continued to have and make in our community and also the martial arts community, Amir Academy family. And he's been a very big part of it. For almost 30 years, he's been with us. 27 years, 3 decades. So he's a 4th degree black belt, which is a huge deal in our school, and not too many people could achieve that rank and stick around long enough to be able to say that. Jamarcus also has fought and competed in an amateur division. I don't remember what your record is.
3-2.
3-2. So just the fact that you're able to get in a ring and also showcase your skills, that's huge. It takes a lot, to do that. So being a father, being a great businessman, entrepreneur, husband, you name it. The man wears many different hats. And as I said, a student of Amir Academy for 27 years. But the thing is, his journey and his work did not stop there, And all of a sudden in 2015, and he started to expand his knowledge into the world of firearms and firearm safety, and in 2020 he became a certified instructor. So of course he has many different certifications. I'm going to go through some of them to make sure that if I'm wrong in any area, that you can please correct me, buddy. All right. Jamarcus has many different certifications. He has an NRA certified instructor in pistol, rifle, and range safety. Is that right? And also he's a USCCA certified instructor for concealed carry and home defense and defensive pistol, defensive tactic, and training counselor qualifications. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, that's huge, in my opinion, a lot of good skills. So he's also a co-founder and president of Black Brass Gun Club. Now you got to tell me about the club. I know I see a lot of posts on Facebook and social media, and it's an organization that is committed to education, empowerment, and responsible firearm ownership, and training within the community. So you being a leader, protector, teacher, a man who wears, as I said, many different hats, but more than anything else, what stands out is his integrity, his loyalty, his discipline, the kind of person he is. So, my friend, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
How did it start? You tell me. First talk about your martial arts, when you started training with Amir Academy. For me, I can say you are the most dedicated and most loyal. We have a lot of loyal black belts in the students, obviously, but you have never been anywhere else except Amir Academy, and that's one thing I can say is remarkable, and I appreciate it. Now, I don't have any problem with any of my black belts and the students training other places and gain knowledge, but for someone who has always been there from the first day, it's been you. So I love you for that, and I respect you and commend you for that.
Yes, sir.
Take it away, my friend.
Well, I started fresh out of college. I just got out of college in '97, and didn't want to be like most of the people that I know when they get out of school. They get lazy, and they just kind of just camp on the couch and never get up again. I've always had a interest in the martial arts and in that culture and in that world. And I'm a huge nerd. I'm a huge geek. I like sci-fi. I like comics. I like all the things. There's a comic shop.
What does that mean when you say I'm a nerd?
Hey, it's not a bad thing.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You're far from being a nerd, man. I look at you as a badass son of a bitch who's ready to kill somebody in a second. I mean, when it comes to martial arts, fighting skills, nerds don't fight like that.
Well,
Oh, just because you know computers and all that shit. Okay, I understand.
That's the beauty of it. But there was a comic shop right next door to the old academy, and one day I walked out of the comic shop and saw the big tiger and said, "Try me." I was like, you know what?
That was Wilson's bookstore, was
Yes,
that
it
right?
was.
Yeah, Jeff.
Yeah, but I walked across the street, knocked on the door, and you were sitting back in your office, kind of laid back like this, looking all serious and all scary.
I don't look scary at all.
And I sat and talked with you, and you invited me in, and after that, just felt like home. Never.
It's
walked back
amazing.
again.
It's that long, almost 30 years.
Yes, sir.
What a great pleasure. This January, we're going to be celebrating our 41 anniversary of Amir Academy.
That's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah,
Looking forward to it.
it's huge. So, tell me about, how did you go from being in martial arts? Of course, I mean, it's such a long journey, and, we're going to get back into that, but I want to dive into the firearm. How did you start training in firearm, and how did you become interested in that?
Well, firearms first off, I was never against firearms. I was more neutral than anything else. I just didn't, I figured, being with you as long as I had been, I can fight. So what am I worried about? I can fight. I got good instincts. I can keep myself out of trouble. But things changed.
Oh, yeah.
People got crazier. You hear more and more stories of people getting shot, people getting hurt. Speaking with you, and then we've got friends in every agency of law enforcement in the area, talking to Matt on SWAT, and talking to Carl, and talking to Russ.
Yeah.
And talking to you guys, say, you know what, I need to expand my knowledge set. I took my first class for you guys. I said, okay.
I remember your first firearm class. It
Yeah.
was, I think it was Russ and I were teaching. Is that right?
Yes, sir. So I take that class, and I get a little more understanding, a little more knowledge. Say, okay, this maybe something I can do for myself, right? And then I had a person close to me who knew I was starting this, called me because she had found a firearm that her child had snuck into the house, and she calls me up and she says, "What do I do?" And as I'm telling her what to do, I hear a bang, gun goes off.
Oh, jeez.
Scared me half to death.
Anybody got hurt?
No, nobody got hurt. Everything was fine. So I rush over and I obtain the firearm, and I dispose of it appropriately, But I get to thinking, I'm like, there are so many people out there that don't know.
Yeah.
So I just dive in feet first and start educating myself more and more and more to get more knowledge, so I can spread that knowledge, right? And also, and this is gonna sound kind of divisive, but it's really not meant to be. There are a lot of people, Black people, African Americans, that want to learn, but they don't do it because all people that they see doing firearms are white people, and you want someone that can relate to your experience, So with that in mind, I say, you know what, I've got to get myself educated. I've got to get myself to the point where I can teach others. So when people that look like me need help, I'm here for them.
But one thing I want people to understand, you don't just teach Black students or Black guys. I mean, you've seen a lot of, people come from different backgrounds. You teach everyone.
Oh, yes, sir.
And so I know that, but I understand your philosophy. I understand what your thoughts are. Now, going back to the child who brought a firearm, we hear about the statistics, but we only hear one or two here and there. But we know thousands of kids being killed by a firearm that parents had in the house, and they were not having a safe area, and the kids were able to reach out. And I'm a gun owner, as you know. I mean,
Yes, sir.
I have a few firearms.
Yeah, one or two.
Yeah, but I make sure that I'm the only one who has access to it.
Right.
And of course, my wife has a firearm, and she's been trained, and she's responsible. But I do have a child. I do have a child with special needs. God forbid, I mean, I cannot even think about if she reaches out to my firearm. So there's no way. No,
Yeah.
I mean, So to talk about that a little bit, because to me that's a sensitive subject. A lot of people are anti-guns, and there's a lot of political garbage out there when it comes to firearms, Second Amendment, and stuff like that. If you could talk about that a little bit and where you stand on that.
Well, my stance on the Second Amendment and firearms in general is it's for everyone. There's people, the biggest arguments I hear is do you care for the kids? Of course I care for the kids.
Yeah.
Well, we should ban all the things. I'm like, well, how is banning guns gonna protect the children? Because banning means laws, right?
Mm-hmm.
So who follows laws? Good people, regular people.
Exactly.
Criminals don't follow laws. That's why
They don't give a
that's why
damn.
they're criminals.
I mean, they go buy the guns in the black market. Doesn't matter. If you're gonna put restrictions on you and I, the people that are responsible. Now we cannot defend ourselves, but a criminal doesn't need permission. They go and buy guns in a black market, and there's no way in the world you could stop it.
Exactly.
No way.
So if prohibitions don't work, I mean, if you don't believe me, grab a history book and look at the prohibitions of alcohol. Didn't work.
Exactly.
Look at all the prohibitions of drugs. Still not working.
No.
So how is prohibition of guns gonna be any different?
Exactly. But let's go back to drugs and alcohol.
Mhm.
You and I don't drink.
Not a drop.
We don't drink, and we don't smoke, and we don't do drugs.
No, sir.
Nobody's forcing us to do it. So you're absolutely correct. So to me, it boils down to education, in my opinion. I think that's what we're lacking, education. Now, a lot of people, there's a big debate always about firearms. If you would have firearms, we wouldn't have access to rifles and assault rifles or AR-15s and blah, blah, blah. The Democrats always fighting, Republicans fighting Democrats, liberals say this, blah, and not to get into politics.
That's why I'm an independent.
Well, exactly. I mean, not to get into the politics of it because there's a mixed feeling, but I believe in the United States, living in this country is necessary.
Yes.
I
agree.
It depends where you come from, and to me, I believe that you have to have the right to defend yourself.
Always.
But let's explain what the Second Amendment really means. I guarantee you, over 90% of the people don't even know what Second Amendment really is and what it stands for, because I've asked people, and the answers I get are ridiculous. And I wasn't even born in the United States. I came here 41 years ago and I became a citizen. I know more about it than most Americans who were born here.
Well, first off, the Second Amendment has nothing to do with hunting.
Okay.
And that's what everybody gets wrong. It's like you have to have a gun to be able to hunt and put food on the table. But since it's modern times, that shouldn't be a thing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what it's about. The Second Amendment is about protecting yourself, from bottom line, a tyrannical government. If we want to really get down to it.
Thank you. So we will not have ayatollahs controlling the government like in Iran. Is that right?
Right.
Because if Iranian people had access to firearms, the ayatollahs would not be in power right now. Because the government has the gun. They have the guns. They have all the power. So what happens the moment you have an uprising or you say anything against the government, anything that any small criticism of the government, you get shot. You get on the street, bam, you're done. Here in the United States, hell no, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a bunch of rednecks grabbing the AR-15s coming down the street. You ain't telling us what to do, is that right?
Yes,
But just any of us.
right.
I mean,
Right.
any of us. I mean, I'm a proud gun owner and I'm very responsible with it. So that's what the Constitution gave us, the right to protect ourselves really against the government being able to become a dictatorship.
Well, if you grab a history
Am I
book.
wrong?
No, you're right. Grab a history book and look at the big one comes to mind is Germany. Okay, before the mustache man took over, he spent years slowly eroding the people's access to guns. By the time he quote unquote pulled the trigger on what he wanted to do, the Jewish people had no more guns because they had taken them all away. there's a law. It's like, okay, people are getting hurt, so we're going to register all the guns, which they all did. Okay, people are still getting hurt, so now we're going to take certain guns. They took all those, and because they were registered, they knew all the guns once, so people couldn't hide. So by the time he did what he wanted to do, the Jewish population had no means of defending themselves. And if you look through history, through any country, before there's any significant loss of life or a huge dictator attack or anything on the people, they spent the years prior removing the access to guns. Just grab your history book and you'll find it.
Well, okay, so you know what I think, and we're both very much on the same side. However, let's talk about the opposition.
Yeah.
Let's talk about mass shooting.
Okay.
We know that mass shooting has been one of the biggest problems and issues in the United States. We have more mass shooting in this country than any other places on earth, from what I know. And so what they say right now, that if you had stronger gun laws, none of this would have happened. If you had the stronger gun laws, we wouldn't have all the killers or killing in Chicago and the crime then in Chicago, for example. Of course, that's different than mass shooting, but mass shooting, some teenager or 20-year-old young punk gets depressed over something and grabs a gun and a rifle and goes out in the school and starts shooting people. How do you explain that to people?
That's a hard one, but not as hard as what you might think.
No, I don't think it's that hard. But I want to know what your thoughts are, because then I'm going to tell you my opinion.
Well, my thoughts on mass shootings are, one, there's a whole lot of people that aren't taking accountability for just anything. You know, I'm sad, so I'm going to go hurt some people. There's a lot of mental health there, but there's a lot of like parents dropping the ball, not storing things properly. Not even watching their kids properly. But as far as, put this. So first off, mass shootings happen the majority of the time where they are in gun-free zones. Like fish in a barrel. You know, the bad people go with the gun to where they know no one's gonna shoot back at them. Right?
Soft targets.
Soft targets. You know, the more soft targets you make, the more chance you have of a mass shooting, in my opinion.
Well, let me tell you about my thoughts on this. Now, I'm not trying to interrupt you. I believe the answer to this problem comes to 3 words.
What's that?
Education, education, education.
You're not wrong.
Is that right?
Yes.
So, mental health is a huge issue in this country.
Right.
The problem is that the politicians they don't really want to understand the problem and solve the problem. They just want to fight against each other.
Yeah.
Because they go from one extreme to another. Okay? So the moment you say some gun laws, Republicans and the right wings, immediately they think, oh, you're attacking or you want to take our rights away. Which I think that's stupid. That's not the really is. But then the liberals or the Democratic part, they also come back and say, well, gun laws, having access to firearms and is killing people, and that's why we have mass shooting. To me, it's okay to have a stronger gun laws, to have a better, background check. There's nothing wrong with that, because you should be able to own a gun if you want to, as long as you have a clean and clear background. Now, I've purchased many firearms, as you know, and you could easily, there are some areas or questionnaires that they have, you could lie about certain things and there's no way they could check it.
Yeah.
So to me, those background checks needs to be stronger, a little bit more strict.
Okay, I can see that.
You understand what I'm talking about?
I can see that.
So I am not against guns, as you know. Geez, I have more guns than most people. Is that right? However, I don't want to go from one extreme to another. I don't think we should have gun laws to the point that would stop us from being able to defend ourselves and having the ownership, responsible ownership.
Right.
But in the same time, both parties have to be willing to listen to each other and see what we can do to help.
Right.
But how do you also define mental, you know, you know, mental health care, mental health issue. For example, if you put up a law that they check your Jamarcus's background and they realize you've been taking antidepressant medication, does that mean they should not sell you firearms?
Yeah,
There's like a lot of,
it gets slippery.
it gets really difficult. So, and sometimes some of these people just snap.
Right.
We have had many mass shooters or many people that commit crimes that they've never had a background, never done anything, and then all of a sudden they snap over a second, over something, arguing with the mom or dad. All of a sudden goes and kills hundreds of people.
Yeah.
So it's hard to explain that. It's hard to really control that. So I think every policy, would have some. I hate to say this, for the lack of a better terminology, is collateral damage in every policy. Is that right?
Well, you can't legislate away evil. You know, no law's gonna make. There's no silver bullet there, right? So you're right. There's gonna be some collateral damage no matter what you do. I think, like a gentleman approached me a couple weeks ago, and he said, "What if there was a way that if a person was feeling not so good, and they were a gun owner, what if there was a way for them to say, like walk into a gun shop or some trusted place and say, here, I'm not feeling well, hold my guns for me, I'm gonna go get some help. And then when I'm feeling better, I'll come back and get it."
How many people you know that they would do that?
Well, see, and they wouldn't do that because because of the fear of, well, what if somebody finds out and they're gonna label me with this, I'm depressed or I'm sick, and now I've lost my rights.
I hate laws. I hate coming up with new laws. That means new control, more control by the government. I hate that garbage. Education. Everything goes back to education. You gotta start educating people, educating gun owners, educating parents. The issue has a very deep root. Is that right?
Well, yeah. Well, talking about children. So how many kids wouldn't have been hurt or would have gotten themselves hurt if they had known what to do when they saw a gun out in the wild.
Irresponsible parents.
Yeah, which is why I do what I do. Is every kid I train, when they come, sometimes their parents bring them to me. Sometimes I'm just talking to them, and I say, "Okay, young man, young lady, what do you do if you're at a friend's house and you see a gun on the table? You leave. You get up and you leave." But I make them articulate that to me.
The curiosity takes over, with the kids.
Well, when you were little, and your father or your mother said, your father and mother said, "Don't do a thing," but they didn't give a reason. They just said, "Don't do it," right? You little kid, well, what are you gonna do? You're gonna go do it because you're curious. If no one gives you a reason or education as to why you don't do it, you gotta go figure it out for yourself, right? Now, you take that same kid and you say, "Okay, don't do this. This can hurt you. This can kill you. This will make mom and dad sad. And give them at least give them that. And when they're older, give them a little more education about what the thing is, how to be safe with it. You kill that mystery. You kill that mysticism. And they're less likely to go experiment because they already know. Like you said, I do what I do because I want people to be safe. I want children to be safe.
I've seen your courses. I love what you do. I love the way you teach. You have created your own niche and your own style of teaching. And I really do appreciate it. I think this is a great service to the community and educating people because I don't want people to think that just because we're gun owners or we are firearm instructors, we are promoting violence or promoting, stuff that goes on. It's far from that.
I'm not a violent person.
Well, I know you're not. I know you're not. But we have bad violence. We have good violence. It's a different subject. We're gonna get into that. As a martial artist, obviously, we do believe in defending ourselves and being able to protect ourselves. I don't even believe in self-defense. I believe in self-offense. Which is some people don't understand what I'm talking about because I believe in action is faster than reaction.
Well, you might not. You don't wait your turn because you might not get it.
Exactly. But anyway, I think I like to do more than one episode with you because I think this is a subject that we could help educate people. Some people are gonna criticize us. Some people are gonna hate what we say, and some people are gonna love it. And I care for the people who love it, and the people who do not like it, they don't have to listen to it. Is that right? So that's a beauty of being in the United States. Let's break away from the guns and let's go back to martial arts.
Yes, sir.
Let's go back to your experience in martial arts and training and teaching. You help teaching so many classes for me. You've always been there for me. And what's the most important thing you gained from martial arts, if I may ask?
Confidence, discipline, probably the two greatest things. When I'm teaching, patience.
Mm-hmm. Well, that you are for sure. Sometimes I want to, but then you bring me back to reality.
Yeah,
You become my teacher when it comes to patience.
hey, goes both ways. But a lot of it is it just makes me just better all the way around, a better person in every aspect. Stronger heart, stronger mind, stronger spirit. It's just a whole package.
I think we have some of the best black belts and it was a greatest team in my opinion. I'm looking at you, Nick Cornelius. Look at Joey Denick. Look at some of the black belts we have created. Rasa, Mike Anderson, Josh, Ian Cavett. I mean, we have some of the best martial artists and black belts that have been with us for many, many years. And every one of you guys contributes so much to the community and the Academy family. So I'm very grateful for that. But man, you've been there from the first day and never stopped. And you have no idea what that means to me.
Well, I found a home here, sir.
I appreciate it, buddy. Thanks for coming to my show. If people want to find out about your classes,
Yes, sir.
firearm classes, if you could look at the camera, tell everyone where to go to and how to find out about your classes.
So first off, my website, you can find me there. It's TAC Solutions.com. You can also find me on all the socials. You can find me on Facebook as Integrity Tax Solutions. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube if you look up Integrity Tax Solutions or The Geek with the Glock. You'll find me over there as well. I post my my training videos. I post classes. I basically anything that I'm out there doing. You can see what I'm doing. You can hit me with questions, the whole nine. And of course, you want to call me 727-231-1198.
Or you could call 727-455-9198. We do hold firearm safety classes at Amir Academy on a regular basis. Mr. Jamarcus teaches that class. And so if you guys are interested in learning how to fight with your fist or with your gun, we could take care of both, all right? He's the man. And we have a great team. Again, thanks everyone for joining us for another great episode on Amir's podcast. Please go on YouTube and subscribe to our channel, support us, and that really helps me out, and so we could do better shows for you guys. As we go forward and we do more episodes, I learn more and more. I know my podcast is not perfect, but and I never thought would be, but I'm gonna get better and better every time and try to do a better job. So far, we have tremendous support from the community and the people, and thanks for being with us. Love you guys. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Thank you, Jamarcus.
Thank you, sir.
You're the best, buddy. Appreciate you.